Good morning, everyone. Hello, Sanntanglers. It's Sunday, 31st of May. I am back from my travels and it's letter V of Simply Words. This morning, I've got something completely different. Morning, Alison. Hi, how are you doing? I've got something completely different. The original thing that I wanted to do that I'd prepped before I went away, I will show you later what it was, but I've discarded that because I was playing around last night and came up with something entirely different that we've not done before. Morning, Maureen. Morning, Jan. Thank you for joining me. I did have a conversation very quickly yesterday with Sandra, and she did ask me to remind everyone that she's going live, I think, in her new studio at 11:30. So this session is not going to be too long because I don't want to encroach on that time. But I understand that she's got a few bargains that she's going to be sharing with us. Hi, Donna. How are you doing? She's got some bargains. We're having a bit of fun with it later. And she wants to test to see how it's all working. So please, can you, if you have time at 11:30 after this, join in, so that she can test that it works with several groups of people. I'm going to try and join it as well to see what the bargains are more than anything. But I do believe she's got something to share with us, so should be good fun. So today is letter V. Hi, Nikki. Hope you're okay. Nikki, the letter I shared with you before, my design for this one, before I went away, I've changed it completely. So you've not seen this yet. So hopefully you'll be okay. So what do we have? I have my O3 fine liner pen, my Sanntangle mechanical pencil. I've got a brush pen, the Sanntangle brush pen, and I've also got my 2B pencil because we'll probably use a bit of both pencils. I've also got a very mucky tortillon with me because I've not unpacked my stuff yet from landing at Heathrow on Friday night. Been trying to just catch up with so many things and get on top of the mountain of washing, but we are where we are. So let's make a start, and I'll move these things out of the way. And the first thing I want to do is, also I'm using a postcard. You could try this on a tile. I've not tested it on a tile. You could try it and see how you go. But I wanted a bit of space, so I've used a postcard, and I'll zoom in and so you can see a little bit better in terms of, hopefully that's better for you. And what I've done, I've just gone horizontal and vertical, or the vertical and horizontal across the middle of my postcard. So I've actually got 4 equal sections now on my postcard. And then what I did, the next thing I did on my letter V, I found the midpoint between the 2 legs on the V, this end and this end. I found the midpoint, marked it with a fine liner pen because it will rub off. And then I'm going to put that point, that centre point, on the centre point where the 2 lines cross on my postcard. So the tops of the legs that you might see are in fact resting on that line, my central line from the midpoint. And all I'm going to do then is draw in my V. I'm using pencil to start with because that's how it goes. Then what I'm going to do is lift my stencil off, turn it around so that the V is the opposite way. I'm going to do exactly the same, put my centre points on the line, and I'm going to do my letter V upside down. But what I'm actually doing is joining the 2 V's. Okay, so you've got something that looks like that. And now you've still got to join up because there's always a gap in the letter, so you still need to just join them up and make sure you've got a complete centre. And I'm going to grab my ruler then, and I'm going to make sure that I mean, I have gone off centre here because I'm showing you, but I'm going to just join these together so that we know where we're heading. So bear with me just while I do this, and then we will we will get this joined up. Okay, like so. Do the same with the other side. Join it to that point where you've got your center, you've drawn in your center line. I'm not going to go too far down, but I do want to join them up. Okay. And then what I did, I turned my postcard around and I went again with the letter V. I did exactly the same, but I did it from the bottom of the letter, and the two legs of the letter V, I had them touching. Okay, so I did exactly the same on both sides again. What I didn't do was put these two straight lines in because it's already touching my letter V. So let's join that bit up, and then we will join this, bring this bit to a point. I'm doing this freehand now, so rather than with a ruler. And then I did exactly the same on the other side. Okay, now this isn't, you will have to make sure you are lined up, because when you come to do the next bit, it's important, otherwise you're going to have slightly dodgy joined up lines, which are not going to look particularly great. So you will end up then with something that looks completely unlike a letter V, completely different, and it's more of an abstract type shape. So then what I want to do, and I'll show you where I've got to with one earlier that I'm going to work on and show you the rest. Then what I want to do essentially is intertwine these two weird shapes. So what I then did was I decided I wanted to go this side here, I wanted to go over. So I'm going to go over towards where that line now goes under. Same with this line, I'm going over and I'm going to bring it in, and I'm just literally sketching it. But so I don't get confused, I'm rubbing out the two lines. If you can see that, I hope you can. I'll rub out this centre line because we won't need that either now. Rub out the lines you don't need as you go. It makes life so much easier. So that now is coming over the shape behind it, and this part of it is going under. And then I wanted to take the other side the opposite way. So this side is going over. Okay, I'm going to bring it over like so. And I'm going to rub out then these lines that are coming down, because this is going over the shape that's now behind it. And then this part is going under. Hopefully this makes sense so far. Then what I decided to do was rub out these lines here that make it look like it's joined together, because I didn't want those, and this line in the middle. And then what I did, in fact, was aura these little pieces here, 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 and here. So when you've done that, it will look something like this. So what came to mind was Battlestar Galactica, but it looks like some weird spaceship, but it actually isn't. So I've penned in all the lines once I was happy with my shape, and then I've penciled in this aura. So we do need to make sure this is penned, because we're gonna fill these bits in with the brush pen. I think, I'm sorry everyone, I did forget to say on my list on the announcement that you would need a brush pen, but that's fine. So I'm going to fill these in. I'm doing this by hand, but I would say if you want to use a ruler, if you want the straight lines, I'm trying to save some time. Okay, so then once we've done this, we're going to fill these shapes in with the brush pen. Now I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me fill it all in with the brush pen, but I'll show you what it looks like when it is done. I have got a finished piece. This centre piece, this centre bit that I'm just filling in, I'm going to use my blues to colour in, and then I'm going to carry on in pen. So what I'm going to do, so my postcard now is what we call landscape. That is portrait. This is landscape. And I'm using the right hand corner. And all I'm going to do now is a loop. So let me move my card so you can see. I'm going to do a loop, fairly big loop. Everyone knows how to do that. We do this a lot, don't we, in tangling? And then I'm going to come over from the side and make another half loop around, and another one, and another one, till I can't go anymore. I'm turning my card slightly, and I'm going to do the same this way. Bring it around. They're not always going to be equally sized either, so don't worry about that. Just bring it around until you can't fit any more in, like that. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same on this bottom left corner, so the opposite corner. So let's have a go and see where we get to. So let's do a loop. Let's go over and over and over until I can't go anymore. Same this side. Over, over and over. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. Then I want to do something completely different in these two opposite corners here. So I'm going to draw a line, just a line, and then a line next to it. I'm going to put a curve over, and then I'm going to do a leaf, fairly big, so that you can see what it looks like. And it's actually coming out from these two ends as well. And I'm going to do another one in this space here, just so we can see it. And I'm going to do exactly the same, and imagine it's coming behind that shape we've just drawn and designed. And I'm going to go to the left on the other side of that central leaf. Again, imagine, and bring it back round. Okay, then I want to do something between these two leaves. I want to do something slightly different, so I'm going to put a curve and another one and another one, and then this is going to be filled in. I want to fill this bit in black, and then I'm going to put some bubbles in the next row, just little bubbles, nothing major. And then I'm going to do some straight lines in the next row. Okay, so hopefully you can see what that looks like. And I think most of us know what this is one of my favourite flowers, so that's why I'm doing it today. So I'm going to go up, wavy line, come down. So it's almost like a heart-shaped freehand. Go up, wavy line, come back down. So it's just touching the leaf there. Do the same again, around, come back down, so it's coming behind the leaf. But I've got a gap, so I'm going to do another one, but you won't see much of it because it's coming in behind these leaves. And then I'm going to do something similar here, so it looks like it's coming all the way around. Then I'm going to do another one that's going to be coming up here and back down. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to do the same this side, so I'm going to draw my leaves. So we're doing opposites, okay? So I'm going to draw my leaf, a line, following that, copying it. Then I'm going to go to the right, put a curve over, bring it over. Doesn't matter what it looks like, it's all just something that we're creating. Now, you don't have to do this. You can do something else in these corners, in these gaps, if you want to. It's entirely up to you. So between the right leaf and the centre leaf, we'll do another flower. So a curve, a curve, and a curve. And then I'm going to do my heart shape. Okay, so start in the middle and build it through. Then I always go to the right because I'm right-handed. I guess if you're left-handed, you'll go the opposite way, but it really doesn't matter because it's just building this little design on the postcard. You could actually, if you really had it in your mind to, you could fill the whole postcard, but I'm not going to. Okay, now in the flower, let's put some flicks in. I'll do that on the other one in a minute. Let's get some flicks going. Okay, and then I need to also fill this bit in, and I want to put some bubbles. I was going to say circles, but they're not. I want to put some bubbles in the next row above, and I want to put some lines, straight lines following the curve. So now we've got something that looks like that. The next thing I want to do then, in these gaps between the stems, I want to put some bubbles, because I want to fill the space. So I'm just going to fill it with bubbles. And if you've got space and you've got gaps, or you can't fit your bubble in, just fill it in with pen. Same on the other side. We'll do exactly the same. We'll go around with a bubble and fill it in. So you get a little bit, when you start filling things in, it gives you a bit of depth, doesn't it? And it gives you a bit of contrast, which is what we're always looking for. Okay, so I've done that bit now. And then the next thing I want to do on my here, between the centre leaf and the left leaf that we put in, I just want to put, or actually coming out from this gap on this one, I just want to put some little leaves, like a little branch. You won't see that one because it's going behind the leaf, but I just want to put something a bit more foliage wise on that one. Same on the other side. I think I'm going to go here with what I want to do. So a line, two curves to make it a leaf, and round. Just a little bit of interest. Okay, so that looks completely different, doesn't it? We started with a letter V, but it doesn't look anything like a letter V right now. So once you've filled in these fully inked in with black, that's great. I want to think about colouring in. So I've used, I picked up the first pencils I had to hand, and I've actually used my Dark Edition pencils today. So I have got, let me see. So I have got Tranquil Blue, Mystic Blue, and Mindful Blue. And then I thought, oh, we'll have a bit of Peacock Blue. I've not used that for a while. And I also then grabbed one of my greens, which is the green tea. So you've got all those colours that you can use. I also used, we've got, it's called Milky White in the Dark Edition. So the first thing I did was just put a little bit of white, top left, in my hexagon shape. Let me see if I can go any bigger. In my hexagon shape, just top left. And then I started with my Tranquil Blue, and I just started going, and I know it's not a circle or a bubble, but you can do this with any shape when you're wanting to colour in and make it look like a gem or make it look like a central piece. So I just followed the edge around, do little circles or little zigzags just to get it going, and go almost all the way around your shape. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this in a little bit. Then I went to my next darkest colour, which in this case is Mystic Blue, and I just started on the edge of that darker blue we've put in. I just started to build the colour, add a bit more, go further around towards the white where you've put your white mark, but that's the lighter part. So we just want to do it this way. Okay. Then I went with my Mindful Blue and added a bit of Mindful Blue in. Just started to blend them all in a little bit. Round we go. Do make sure your pencils are sharp, everybody, because that hasn't, some of mine are sharp, some are not. So, and then I went with my peacock blue. On my original, I did put a little bit of the green tea in as well, but I'm going to leave it like that. Then you need to come back down the colours. So go back to your mindful blue and just start to overlap your colour, the lighter colour. And then I went with my mystic blue back down. Let's go back to that. So you can start to see now it's starting to fill in. I'm just starting to blend. I love how these pencils blend. It's so lovely. It's so easy to use. And then I need to go back to my tranquil blue, which is much darker, but it blends really well. It doesn't really, because it is darker, it still blends really well. So we'll do that bit. And then I went with my green tea, because you can see I've got a little gap there. So I'm just going to go with my green tea over the top there, not over the white, just over the top, just so that you can see. And I've gone over all of it with the green tea for the minute. Then I'm going to come back to my mystic blue, and I'm just going to start making that work. Sorry, I can't think straight. I think I've still got jet lag, everyone. So do go bear with me on this. And then I'm going to pick up my, if I can find it, my milky white. I'm just going to go start in the where you've already put your white, and just start to go over the whole thing with your white. Now, when you get little bits of your pencil, don't do this with your hand to wipe it away. Wait until you've finished and then blow. Just blow it off, okay? Otherwise, you're going to smudge colour all over your work. Okay, so then when I did that, I decided to pick up the rest of my greens, my dark edition greens. And I went with, let's have a look, what have we got? So I went with the Cosmos, the Meadow Green, and my green tea. Can you see those? Yeah, green tea, Cosmos, Meadow Green. That's those three. So I wanted to put some colour on these leaves. So I just swirled little circles around this, across the top and this way on each one. And I think I went to the right, depending on where I drew my leaves and where the darker part is, but it doesn't really matter. You can, if you choose a side, you can stick to the same side on all three leaves. I always think this is personal choice, but I'm going to go this way because I can, and it's my piece, and I've got a bit of artistic license. And so here we go. And then I'm going to go to my Cosmos. These are great names, aren't they, for these leaves? Cosmos. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to go over my Meadow Green, just to try and get it moving a little bit and get it starting to blend. And do the same on this side. So on all three leaves, we're going to put the Cosmos. Put a bit more. And then I'm going to my green tea, which you can see there. And I'm just going to finish going up to the top. And I'm going to blend with my green tea all the way through. I'm not going to put my white on. I'm just going to leave it. And the same here on the other side. Blend it through. Now, I haven't chosen colours for my petals here. I hadn't quite decided what to do, but I'm likely to go with the oranges. So we've got Locket Lane Orange, Halloween, and I think it's called Nightlight. I would use those three. And potentially the other one is called, is it Lumo Yellow? Yes, I think it is. I think it is Lumo Yellow. So you could use those to blend your petals in. And then with the loops, these loops that we've got here, I shaded those. So I picked up my 2B graphite pencil, and all I did then was follow the line of each of these. So I added some graphite. Did I? No, I didn't. I added graphite top and bottom. I've not put any defining lines in here. And then we'll go here, just add some graphite. Who knew this was a letter V? Huh? And then I picked up my tortillon and just started to shade, just swirl it around, bring it up towards the middle and ease off the pressure as you come up towards the middle of your loop. And I went and did that with all of them. Okay. And once you've done this, you would come back to, well, most of you probably will have a way to do this. And then I start at the top of the petal and start to bring it down towards the middle and ease off the pressure. Okay, so that you're trying to leave a little gap between the two sections. So I am still zoomed in, so hopefully you can still see what I'm doing here. Bring it up toward the middle a little bit more. You don't want too big a gap either in between the two graphite sections. So you can see now how it's starting to take shape. And I'm just going to go very lightly, bring it closer to the middle. Do exactly the same on the other side. Just turning my cards so that I can see where I'm going. So hopefully you've all had a good tangling time while I've been away, and I saw some lovely tiles. I've missed about 6 tiles, and I've missed the grids, and I've missed the tangly trails that Sharon and Vicky have done. So hopefully I'll be able to find some time to catch up. So we're going to try and get that effect. Okay, just to give it the shading. And when you've done all that, you will end up with something that looks like this. Okay, so I don't know if I can bring it in so you can see it. As I say, I haven't coloured in the petals yet because I was still deciding what colours to use. But you can see where I filled in here with the brush pen, did my little, what I call a gem effect, coloured in the leaves. I added my bubbles between the stems. I did the petals here. I will colour it in and I'll finish it and I'll post it on the main Facebook page for everyone. And the other thing that I did between my pen line of the orange shape and the main shape here, I got my white gel pen and just filled it in. The other thing I did then was add graphite on the inside. So let me show you. On the inside of the main shape and the inside of this line of the main shape. And all I did then was use my tortillon to bring it in towards the middle, but I didn't fill it in. On both sides, I've got a gap. And then what I did, I used my chalk pencil, because I think most of us have got the white chalk pencil, just to highlight in the middle. So there you are, everyone. I hope that you were able to follow that along and help with it, and understand where I started and how you get the shape by joining the 2 letter V's together. I did then have an idea, because we've already done the letter U, that's already been done, but I did exactly the same with the letter U. So I drew I divided it into 4. I put my letter U one way, then the other, and then to the sides in pencil, and then joined it up and created a completely different shape, completely different. And you wouldn't know that that's a letter U. It just looks like interlinked chains. So hopefully that's given you an idea of something completely different, something that is not just a letter, but it's other things that you can create with your letter. As I say, Sandra is going to be live in about half an hour, I believe. So please, if you can, join her for the test that she's testing out her new equipment and the studio that she's set up. If you can join her for that, I do know she's got some surprises and she's got some bargains. Don't know if she's got a giveaway, but I know she's got some bargains that she's going to share with us. So please do join her later. And as I say, this video will be available for 30 days. So please do make sure you catch it and have a go. And please do also post, share with us your own designs of this idea or your own creations, and where you've built on the idea and inspiration. But yeah, it's great to be back. Thank you, everyone. I did keep an eye on Facebook while I was abroad. It was difficult, mind, because we weren't always in a good place for signal. So I did try and keep an eye on what everyone was up to and what I was missing out on. I did have FOMO, I've got to say. And I will see you soon. You've got Nikki next week, I think Saturday 10:30, and it is letter W. And then I'll be back the week after with letter X, and we're nearly there. I was talking to Sandra very quickly, as I said yesterday, and Nikki and I are starting to think about what we might want to do next for people. And so we're going to start planning another series, something different, and we're going to start having a look at what we can do to run some more videos like this for you, some more lives. But we'll keep you all posted and we'll keep you all informed. Okay, so for now, I'll see you at 11:30 if you're joining the test that Sandra's doing. But for now, goodbye and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye.